Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am Krishanu, and this is the show Friday Evenings with Amit. If you look at, there is a very interesting subject selected for today's discussion. Slowing down in a fast world. If we look at ourselves, we have somewhere equated fast as being efficient, fast as being something to look for, fast as the final answer to whatever efficiency calls for. Now, if we look at from this point, we have done phenomenally well over the maybe past 100 years. We have got faster communication, we have got faster conveyance, we have got faster everything. And we are so fascinated with being fast that we have movies, whole series of them, Fast and the Furious. Well, the Furious part is a little bit dubious, but we'll come to that later. But this is the general perception that fast, for the lack of a better word, is good. But is it so? Because we have also paid a price. We have also seen setting up of Ministry of Happiness by some big nations because happiness became a big casualty to being fast. We see enormous hike in mental ailments, ADHDs. We see enormous hike in depression. There is a whole industry feasting on the exploits of being fast. So we have to look at it in a little deeper way. And this talk will involve this subject because it is not only important to us as individual in whatever life stage we are, even children, they are at the risk of contracting these mental diseases unless we do something about it. The probability is fairly high. Elderly people, the Alzheimer's and the other kinds of stuff, very high probability unless we do something about it. So on this note, we would like to have today's discussion, and today we have a guest with us. Can we have Dr. Goswami as well as guest on the screen, please?
Hi.
Hi. So we have Corinne with us. Corinne is from France, and she is an energetician, and she has a lot more qualities. We'll come to that in a while, but she's really something. When we'll talk about her, when we'll engage with her, you will get to know. On one hand, she can be quite commanding. People should be afraid of her, and I'm not joking. For serious purposes, I'm saying this. And also, people will find peace in her because that is one of her job. As a psychopractitioner, Corinne helps a lot of people. As an energetician, Corinne helps a lot of people doing or do better in their lives. So we'll come to you, Corinne, in a while. And in the meantime, Dr. Goswami, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am good. I am good as new. Well, I heard that our human body anyway gets renewed in a while. Maybe 3 months we get a whole new body. But I am new because my mind is new. And with your help and the help, the work you do, generally keeps people in a good shape. So thank you for that.
All right. You are welcome.
Now, we, like Dr. Goswami, I just referred to his work and his work having an impact on people, direct people. And we don't want to restrict this impact to just a few of us who happen to be close to him, who happen to get these blessings firsthand. However, we want to open it up to the world. And that's what we did. That's what Dr. Goswami did when he collaborated with the University of Technology in Jaipur, India, to offer a master's and PhD course in quantum science of health, prosperity, and happiness. If you look at the name, the health and prosperity comes first because these two are paramount for getting the third one, happiness. And happiness is something that everyone looks for. So this is because of the coronavirus season is completely online for 2021. There is generally a master's degree is a 2 years course. Anyone with a bachelor's degree can enroll in our master's course, and anyone with a master's degree or above can enroll for our PhD program. Now, these are properly accredited courses for Portuguese speaking people. Thankfully, Dr. Goswami has a huge following in that part of the world, the Brazil as well as Portugal. And for Portuguese people, we have translation services available. Everything that we do is something that you can easily relate to in your own language. Or there are two versions. So as I'll repeat, English version as well as the Portuguese version. So this is a 2 years master's degree course and the 3 to 5 years PhD course. This is fully accredited by University Grants Commission of India. We call it UGC. And this is a valid degree all over the world. So people who are interested in enhancing their careers as well as their knowledge base, they are most welcome to contact us at info@amitgoswami.org or visit our website www.amitgoswami.org. We have recently come up with some certificate courses because we see there are lots of people who may not need a degree, but they want to have a better understanding of what we are talking about. For them, we have certificate courses. Again, if you visit www.amitgoswami.org or send a mail to us at info@amitgoswami.org, we will be able to help you better. I strongly encourage you to send the email because through email we can correspond better, we can respond to your queries better. Now, this is a very different subject than most of the other subjects that you think about. Just imagine, you go for engineering, you learn something, it gives you a job, it gives you a particular application in a certain field. But here, look at what the course is offering. It is offering something that you need every moment of your life. Happiness. And you get a degree on top of that. And that too, it is very competitively priced. So once you get in touch with us, we'll be able to tell you the nitty-gritties about the courses as well as what it entails. And like the last week we mentioned, we are receiving a significant amount of query for the various courses as well as some other materials. In a few weeks' time, we are going to make available to you a huge library of videos which will be free of cost. So that will come. We are working on it. And this will help you develop even a better idea of what we are teaching and give you a first-hand taste of what Dr. Goswami is talking about. All right. Now coming back to today's topic. Now the topic, as I said, is slowing down in a fast world. And how is this going to impact us? And we'll first go to Corinne. So, Corinne.
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here with you.
Great, thank you. So, the question that we ask everyone whoever comes to our show, because this is our own selfish interest, and to peek into your mind about how you think, is that why, out of so many things, you joined our course?
Oh, it's a very interesting story simply because in my experiences as an energetician, a psychopractitioner, and before that, before I became that, I did an important work on my his family history through transgenerational analysis, and discovered that I inherited a lot of behavior and a lot of pains that my ancestors could not metabolize, could not integrate. And somehow I wondered where could this energy be going from them, dead people, to me? And how could I embody and have behaviors that I didn't recognize that I wanted to? And so in this way and through this work, I got rid of it. And of course, I wanted to know more about energy, invisible energy, and how it works, and especially about consciousness. And I learned some techniques, and it was, very practical and everything, but I wanted to know the theory behind it. And I wanted to make sense in a wider way. And this is, I was wondering, but I'm sure something like this must exist. And I just looked through the internet and encountered this master's program, and I said, oh God, thank you. And I just enrolled with joy, really, because the study is just full of aha. The study is full of a lot of consciousness, simply just to put things together and just to acquire a deeper knowledge of how one person works in her body, in her mind, and in her spirit, and just to be able to align all of those elements. Suddenly we are back on our evolution as a human being, and it's just wonderful because we need to evolve. We can't go on working and destroying the world the way we do it. This is the next move, human evolution, and this master helps us to evolve in our consciousness and in our being. Voila.
All right. So in this context, I would also like to tell our viewers that you are a very dangerous person. No?
No, I'm not.
4 types of martial arts, and you are still not dangerous. All right.
No. You want to know why I got into it?
Yeah, so that's something is very intriguing because I understand that you are an expert in judo, then aikido, then tai chi and qigong, and you are also an expert yoga practitioner. So you have a veritable, armory of all these kinds of stuff, which are generally revered at or feared at, depending on how I am looking at it. So you got into these things, and my question would be that in today's topic we have slowing down in a fast world, and we all know that really we want fast. Even we want our internet connection to be fast so that the thing is flawless. But what about slow? And in your exploration of these martial arts as well as yoga, as well as the background that you have, and you have been documentary filmmaker, let's not forget that. So you have an eye for detail, you know how to look at things so that they look beautiful, and you more importantly know, because you are making a documentary, how to give meaning to something. So this puts you in a very unique position to talk about today's topic, that slowing down in a fast world, and how is it really relevant? Are we really in the right direction? Whether we forget about slowing down and keep pacing up and up? What do you think?
Oh, well, I'm very happy to talk about this because I am fire sign as a person. I'm an Aries, or in Ayurvedic terms, I'm a Pitta, double Pitta, a lot of energy and fire and enthusiasm, and I needed to anchor myself. So from a very young age, I really needed to anchor myself and understand how I could channel this energy to work for myself, rather than be just submitted to it and to master it. And this is why I got into different kinds of martial art. First, judo, just to learn how to defend myself because I'm a small person. But then Aikido was a lot more deeper for me, just to master and to see that our internal energy is linked to the universe energy, and just to make sure that we can master these different flow. Okay, and just the quality of the attention is really aligning ourselves, just making us stand in our verticality, and just linking the energy of the sky and the earth, and just concentrating our attention. And that is very important in what we do, because we are so dispersed by too much information, too much relations, distractions. And so to learn how to master, how to concentrate and be present, totally present, and the quality of that presence is important. And so then I went further later on with Qigong and with yoga. And I'm very happy with that the yoga the teaching that we are receiving within the master's program is a yoga which is in resonance with this cosmic energy flow. So we are practicing in our body, but linking each other with archetypes, with the superior expression of these particular energies. And so in doing so, we have an expansion of consciousness, which enables us to slow down and just to cultivate this other dimension of ourselves. And when we come back, in the doing phase, then we are a lot more calm, quiet, happy, open, and also open to receive new ideas, new creative ideas that we need to invent for our life, for our relationship, or just to invent the world of tomorrow. And this is why slowing down with these practices was first important. And I'll just add, of course, that something very important that came later in my experience is proper meditation. And then the expansion of consciousness is even greater. And then we learn in our day-to-day life to go from this expansion of consciousness to a normal doing phase. But, the flow between these inspired states and this connection to something that is greater than us is easier, and just makes us a lot happier, aware, attentive to what we do. And it's just a question of discipline. And the power of the group is so important that I started myself a little group of practices, because it's powerful. It's powerful to share this expansion of consciousness and the ability to know that we can slow down for the better for ourselves.
I am really, really happy, and I really appreciate the fact that you help others in this way. You draw experience from your own life and you share it with others so that their lives gets enriched. This is something which is really, really noble, and the world needs more people like you who can help their fellow human beings lead a better life and get more and more happiness. Uh, Hang on, Corinne, I'll get back to you in a bit. But now, over to Dr. Goswami.
Hi.
If we look at, Corinne mentioned about information processing, expansion of consciousness, meditation, a lot of stuff which are very closely related to what you teach and what you stand for. But for a moment, if I become a devil's advocate and say that in today's topic, slowing down in a fast world, it seems like that we are promoting slowing down. We are saying slowing down is good. But remember, unless there was a fast internet, this very program would not have been possible. Unless there is a fast transportation, you could not travel from one country to another. Fast is really, really good. It has helped our civilization grow. So, where did we go wrong? Where did we, at what point did we overdo the fast part? At what point did we forget that we have something else to live for? That is the question.
It's actually very easy to answer, but not that very easy to accept because of today's very distorted worldview. The differences between inanimate material objects versus living beings, especially living beings who want to process mind. Mind, mental processing is the story that constantly helps if we are creative. A mind who is not creative becomes moribund. We cannot live with the same mental software and not only not be happy, but also cannot do anything of consequence. We cannot understand new things, new experiences. We cannot even project and develop new technologies. It all depends on creativity. How did we become so apt in developing fast things, which we do need? We do need some fast stuff in order to communicate better, in order to transport better, and so forth. But development of it requires creativity. It's not giving up the fast entirely. People sometimes misunderstand. Fast is exclusive of slowness, but slowness is not exclusive of fastness. You can be slow and fast. In fact, creativity, I call it the do process, as quantum science is revealing to us, consists of both. Do mode is necessary for bringing what the B mode, the slow mode, gives us. The slow mode allows us to process from the unconscious. In the first mode, we are allowed only the conscious thinking, which is limited to the old, limited to the software that I have, the mental thinking that I already have in my brain, memorized. How do I go outside of that memorized thinking? That's the issue, no? That's the issue of creativity. I need new thinking. In quantum physics, we call them unmanifest possibilities. Everything comes from possibilities, everything including thinking. There are many possible meanings, infinite possible meanings, in fact, to choose from moment to moment to describe our experiences. And that's in the unconscious. Conscious has very little of it. One particular brain has very little of it. And how do we access this unconscious? We access it by being, by slowness. Slowness means that in between our experiences, there is a gap. You can experience it very easily. Just try to meditate, hold your attention to one thought, and you will notice that after a while, you have slowed down. Where do you go in between one thought and another? The answer is you go in the unconscious. And there, it is possible to cultivate an unconscious which is full of new possibilities. Of course, some people even in unconscious continue to be very fast and continue to be very non-creative, always going over the same things. So you have to clean up your mind a little bit. You clean up your unconscious a little bit. These things psychologists like Carl Jung already talked about. What quantum physics is saying is that if we do that, then we really access a unsuspected unconscious consisting of infinite quantum possibilities to choose from. This is what creativity is about, and this is what we can do via slowness. When we combine the slow and the fast mode appropriately, this is what quantum science teaches us. This is what we teach in the degree course that Krishanu mentioned earlier. And this is how we become healthy, prosperous, and happy.
Well, this is the creative process, the do, where periods of activity are punctuated by periods of slowness or inactivity when the consciousness expands and the possibilities expand. So the choice become more and more available for people to choose from many possibilities. The possibilities increase. So you were suggesting that the slowness that we are talking about here helps us to bring about creativity more in human minds. Uh, the full pace of life that we generally see, or fast life that we generally see, it does not give that opportunity for the possibilities to expand, and therefore the creativity is limited, or maybe at best it is based to a situational. So in this context, there are two things that you often mentioned. If you could be kind enough to share with the viewers also, that creativity basically are of two kinds. One is situational creativity, and the other is fundamental creativity. So can you very briefly tell us what is the difference between these two?
Well, in life, situations arise. Situations meaning something that is new, but these situations we can try to solve in a short term way, and that usually means that I take care of the situation with a quick answer that I can find. So in situational creativity, we don't go out of that quick mode, the first mode, very much. We use the known software, known information a lot. Just venture into a little bit outside of the known, just enough to solve the particular problem that arisen in the situation. A good example is COVID. The first part of COVID, one part of COVID, is to be answered immediately. How did we answer it? The scientists, very capable people, they answered it by what is already known. They knew about vaccine making. They knew about preventing contagious disease. So they applied all this. Of course, people resisted. That's another issue. That's not scientist issue. But they found the answer within what was already known. Still requires some creativity, some imagination, because exactly the same known things will not work for a new virus, but they found it. However, there's a second part of this, and a third part of this, and so forth. There are consequences of COVID that we are still dealing with, that the vaccine does not deal with. There is aftermath of COVID for many people. Not necessarily, but a significant portion. Millions of people, actually, when you consider the fact that so many millions of people have been affected and suffered from this disease already. For what them? What is it for them? Some people are suffering even for a year about disease which borderline mental. There's some physical problem, but the mental problem is what they're mostly suffering from. Those problems are not short-term problems. They require fundamental creativity, a new way of thinking, a new way of thinking about health. So in this way, fundamental creativity will require people to look into the basic problems of what we do today with health, what is wrong with it. What is wrong with it is not treating the whole human being. The whole human being is not just the physical body, not just the virus and kill it and the problem is solved. Immune system, of course, is mainly a defensive system, and that kills off all intruders. So the reactivate the immune system by killing off the intruder is first step, certainly. But you probably don't know that if you suspend the defensive programs of the body momentarily, I'm not advising that you suspend the immune system for a long time, that would be very dangerous. But momentary suspension of the immune system in appropriate situation, like you are trying to generate romance between you and a person of opposite sex. In those situations, suspension of defense temporarily is extremely important. What we find is that if we do, then not the immune system is suspended, but the heart in the same region, in the region of the chest, the heart picks up an additional function. It becomes coherent in movement, a movement that we call quantum movement. In that movement, it functions in a way that is what we call romantic love. It automatically leads to feelings of expansion of consciousness to include the other person. This is a very different way of being. Corinne was talking about expansion of consciousness. So love is the easiest way of getting into an expanded consciousness. How did we do it? We did it by suspending the immune system and releasing, reactivating, awakening of the heart to do a new function. So in this way, there is more to health than just what we already have. If we awaken heart and if we learn to love, you know what happens? Even in the COVID case, there is one data that stands out. People who have love in their life have 50% less COVID infection. How does that happen? Love strengthens the immune system. Immune system actually does need periodic rest, just like the brain needs periodic rest. If the brain doesn't get it, immune system malfunction. Maybe some of the disease that we have, like cancer, heart disease, autoimmune disease, even Alzheimer, may be due to immune system malfunction. Then is love the answer? Yes, love is part of the answer, but it's not all that simple, and therefore we need to discuss the whole quantum science of consciousness. This is what we teach, and this is where fundamental creativity comes in. We have to really discover new quantum contexts. These contexts are called archetype. Love is one creative context. It's an archetype. Truth is another one. Beauty is another one. Wholeness about health is restoring also this wholeness of the body with the mind, with the vital energies. And that is also an archetype. Exploring wholeness as an archetype takes fundamental creativity. Ultimately, health, prosperity, and happiness all are issues of fundamental creativity, changing ourselves in a fundamental way. Okay?
One last quick question to you. That is, this one, the diseases you talked about, Alzheimer's, and of course, COVID is very relevant. But what about the mental diseases, this silent pandemic that is going on for maybe few decades now, and something that we know we are affected by it, but since it is not coming in a very short period of time like COVID, we are sort of pushing it under the carpet or giving it a cursory examination. Okay, this is important. But if we probably go back a few decades and check the data, the mental disorders and the kind of things would have probably caused us more deaths and disability and tension and all sorts of problems than COVID in its entire history. So what is the take of quantum worldview on this?
I agree with you. Actually, what is happening today is very tragic. But it was always the case. It's not just that the fast living is the first time that these things showed up. It always has been with us, except that now it has become much more common. It is spreading much faster, this particular mental problems. What happens is that how our personality develops. We literally have tendency of going opposite to who we are. Who we are is rooted in oneness. This is why Corinne pursues martial arts. It's a very wonderful way of getting into that expanded oneness consciousness. But you know what? There is an opposite tendency, opposite drive. The drive towards wholeness is called holotropy. Stan Grof, the great psychologist, discovered this. And the opposite tendency is called hyalotropy. What's in a name? Just remember there are two tendencies. One is towards separateness, one is towards wholeness. And this tendency towards separateness creates personalities, A, to banish positive feelings from our experience. And then what happens is that we are avoiding all experiences of emotions, because you cannot just avoid the positive emotions, you also avoid the negative, but negative is built in the brain. So we have the negative emotions as well. And then we feel neurotic. Where is the negativity coming from? I'm suppressing them, but they're showing up anyway. Well, that gives you the neurotic personality. What's even worse is that if you succeed in suppressing completely, suppose you are a completely mental being, you really have managed to suppress not only positive emotions, but also negative emotions that brain automatically generates. What then? Then you develop that psychotic tendency. You become so isolated. In the ultimate limit, you really become depressed or schizophrenic or one of those states of tremendous psychopathy and sociopathy. But in the short case, suppose you don't go that far, you become an intellectual who is really devoid from the world. These ivory tower people who make a lot of decisions, write a lot of things about things, but they're really not versatile enough to know the world the way the world is. They are missing out on components of the world, like the energies that Corinne talked about. That expanded consciousness, they never achieve. The consciousness becomes very contracted. And because the world is today run by many of these intellectuals, this is a problem. They are creating problem not only for themselves health-wise, but they are creating a problem for everybody in terms of social chaos. All the social problems today you see, like, why are we so stupid as to destroy our own planet as to its environment by global warming? We are doing that. Why? Because the intellectuals have created an impression that global warming may not be serious, it may be deception. They do that. Quantum physics is giving us a new worldview. Some of the intellectuals are saying, no, they are not important. Religion and spiritual traditions have established for thousands of years that pursuing moral values, being good to others is important for society. But some of the intellectuals are saying, no, that's just imagination. No such thing as archetype. Intellect allows us to do this kind of thing because with intellect we don't see the world as it is. We see only the world that I want to construct with my mental imagination. Some people use pejorative words, four-letter words to describe this. I'm not going to use it, but this is what we are doing in our society today. And to keep away from it is why we need slowness in the world. That mental world these intellectuals create is a very fast world, fast thinking. We do not need that. We need do, we need creativity, we need more dimensions to our thinking. Then we can avoid psychopathy and neurotic thinking.
Great. I really appreciate it. And I'll take a leaf out of one of your writings that the true four-letter word starts with a L and ends with a E with O and V in between. So I guess if this four-letter word is widely used, a lot of the problems that we face today will be eradicated immediately. Well, we are running out of time today, but I have one short request with Corinne, that you already have a huge repertoire of skills. So, is it possible that you can display something maybe related to today's topic, that slowing down is important and you already practice it day in and day out? Maybe something from Qigong or some other discipline which our viewers can use and be benefited by that. Is it possible?
Yes, sure. Um, I can say that there is a lot of difference between meditating every now and again and meditating every day. Even if you don't meditate or practice something that slows you down for a long time, what is important is to do it every day, just so you become familiar with that other expanded state of yourself. And so you learn to surrender and just to let go, as if you were opening up your mental, intellectual, rational thinking to something new, as Amit was describing, that always comes from something greater than you, and just opening oneself every day at one little instant of the day or several, to this new potential is just wonderful, because it does always come to you and in the most unexpected way. And so you can even ask and receive. And that is a good game to get into in a daily practice.
That is wonderful. Asking and receiving, if they really become a game, and what else is there? What else is required? So, thank you so much, Corinne, for being with us on this show and giving us your valuable time. You have a lot of work. We all know that, and we really appreciate from the Center for Quantum Activism of you spending time with us. I would also like to thank Dr. Goswami, as usual, for being in this show and letting the viewers know from his, we call it a horse's mouth, but he is very much a human. Some call him superhuman, but this is a separate matter to discuss. Maybe we'll have a separate subject on these things one of these Fridays. But really, what you have heard, what Dr. Goswami is talking about, what you have heard, is just not even the tip of the iceberg. It is like a flag on the tip of the iceberg. So if you really need to know what is that iceberg all about, like Corinne did, you are most welcome to look at our website, www.amitgoswami.org, or better still, send us an email at info@amitgoswami.org, and we will let you know what is there under the water level. So thank you, both of you, for being with us, and we will be back next Friday. In the meantime, if you have any questions, if you have any clarifications required, anything at all, right, write to us in the same email ID, info@amitgoswami.org, and we respond to every valid message or email. The last time I did make a remark that we reply to all message and emails, but I must be truthful that some of these emails and messages are not worth replying to, barring them. If you are genuinely interested and if you are looking for something that will not only help you in particular, but as Dr. Goswami said about the global problems. So it will help the society in general. It will help the planet in general. Uh, there is no better place. So get in touch with us, and we'll be delighted to be of service to you. Thank you so much again, and we'll meet you next Friday. Until then, bye bye.